I'm a third generation textile artist. My mother was involved in the Arts Council from a very young age. I grew up in a very small town, Hannibal, Missouri, and I grew up with raku fire pits in the backyard, cyanotype workshops, and got exposed to a wide array of materials from a very young age. She was a Navajo and tapestry weaver. Her mother was a rag rug weaver on a 4-harness loom, later an 8-harness loom, and she was a quilter and also a painter. And so I grew up around a lot of love of textiles. So later as a student at the Kansas City Art Institute, with a gentle push from my mother, I studied textiles and had the incredible opportunity of working for Asiatica, a company that makes clothing out of deconstructed and reconstructed kimono fabrics. And I really fell in love with silk textiles then. The interesting thing about Japanese kimono fabric is the strip construction of the garment, and all of the fabrics are 12 inches wide. And back when I started working at Asiatica, the silk kimono lining fabrics were too thin for them to use to make garments. And so I collected a lot of acid reds and creams in the beginning, and I loved the translucent quality of the silks. And I could layer 2 layers of the fabric, and some of the shapes would shadow through. I just was fascinated with the vibration of the cloth then. And in about 2010, I got to go to a private kimono sale in Las Vegas, where there were both kimono and obi for sale. And with obi, there's quite often double weave, where one side is the reverse of the other, absolutely gorgeous. And these are the obi is the waist belt that goes around the kimono, and they're just some of the most beautiful textiles in the world. This originally was an entire kimono of the single stripe. And I think I began a love affair with stripes several years ago, and I just start with busting up the lines and piecing them back together to create the fractured shapes. And so it starts as something like this and gets fractured into something like this. And sometimes these pieces can linger in my studio for years before they come alive in an actual piece. All of the work is intuitively pieced, and in conversation back and forth with itself and me sort of leaving the space and coming back into the space and seeing how the work is moving. I would say that in the last few years, the pieces have gotten a little more congested in their piecing and the stacking and the shapes. For the last few years, I've been thinking a lot about balance and imbalance in the world and trying to find peace with that.